Boom! Shake the room. Am I recording? It's recording. Hey, open up. Open up, fella. There it is. I'm on page 8. I think I've kind of finished this panel. Whoops, let me just let it come into focus. I know this is not a great panel. But it's a transitionary panel. I had an idea, and maybe I won't do this, but let's try it. I had an idea. Well, let's get the whole hat in there. About taking the central figure and making it much bigger. Oh, I messed it up. What if I just took it and did something like that? But I think it's probably fine. I do want it to establish, I want it to establish that we've got the bus and the, more of the junk that's there. Let me take some of the pencils out. More of the junk that's there. And I've already started on this guy, which is the next panel over. I'm wondering if I think that's probably the right way, but there's a curve in this crowbar, and I think I have it exactly backwards. I think it should be like this. So that the curve is curving back. Behind. I mean, there's a number of ways you could do it, I guess. If I remove the pencil layer. That's a very ugly, scratchy outline. Hey, Peter. What? What is the law of unintended consequences? There probably is like an actual law of unintended consequences. If I were to look it up, what would I get? Law of unintended consequences. The laws of, or the law. Whatis.com says the law of unintended consequences is a frequently observed phenomenon in which any action has results that are not part of the actor's purpose. I would like to say that I think that the law of unintended consequences is always with us and must be accounted for. And I think most people realize that. I think most people go, yeah, you're going to tell me anything new. Most people account for those things. Most people that are not, like, let's say, really naive or little children. They go, well, I did this thing and I was assuming X would happen. Or Y would happen. Or I didn't assume anything at all. I just did it because that's what I was feeling at the time. And then what happened? It's like the surprise Pikachu meme. Does everybody know the surprise Pikachu? Let's see if I can look that one up. Surprise Pikachu. When I edit this video. or shocked Pikachu. Know your meme. Refers to a screenshot from the Pokemon anime of Pikachu with his mouth agape. What? As though it were surprised. And then usually it's something like, I wonder what would happen if I post, blank. And then there's the response is, moderators ban my account. Me, surprise Pikachu. Or, they have one from, they have several examples over here. What would happen if I install 500 Skyrim mods? Skyrim crashes immediately. Me, surprise Pikachu. There are so many unintended consequences out there. Now, luckily, I'm an adult, and I try to account for those things. Alright, that's actually looking pretty okay. Hang on. I've been noticing some people that have... looking tough. Rapid Fighter's looking tough. I've been noticing some people suffering from the law of unintended consequences around me. And part of me wants to say, what did you think would happen? Okay. That's actually looking pretty good. We're going to go kind of simplistic. For this panel, this inset panel, I'm actually going to put it on layer 1, which is where I put my regular panel borders. Since this is, I know it's an inset panel, but we're kind of assuming that this is a legitimate panel. But one of the reasons is I'm going to do these focus lines. And one of the ways to get the focus lines correct is you have to draw them outside the boundaries. And then you have to erase. And so you want to be able to keep the panel border, which I think I will do. You can see I added text. In several places. Today is Friday. I'm only going to be doing this on stream for on video for about 20 minutes. Then I'm going to cook dinner. And I will be going to Historicon. Actually, I will be going to Fall In, which is part of the Historic Miniatures Gaming Society, to take part in the convention and maybe even be a vendor and sell some comics, but also sell some miniatures. I have a huge, massive, gigantor collection of 15mm miniatures. I am a 15mm maven, and I have plenty to sell if people are interested in 15mm skirmish. Problem is it's historical, and that's not exactly my jam, except for I like two things in historical. I like the westerns, so I like cowboys. Love cowboys, and then I also like I have a real soft spot for the Napoleonics, and actually I like the ancient Greeks. I have some Mycenaeans and some Greeks, and I like those forces as well. I guess I do like historical miniatures. Maybe I'm all wrong about that. I think of my Greeks as almost like a fantasy group, though. I mean, I love the ancient Greeks. Some people are into World War II, which I'm not as interested in. I have to admit I'm kind of interested in, depending on the battle, World War I. Let's see. Oh, these are on the bubbles. Alright, I'll have to... Let me get rid of those. Well, I'm not going to get rid of those. These look pretty good. They look okay. But we're going to take those and put them back on the... Let's put them back on the inking layer. And... Alright, we're back on the inking layer at this point. Make sure that I'm in focus. Yeah. This is our, as we've established, that Rabbit Fighter wields a Mauser machine pistol. Not a Luger. That's the ultimate bad guy pistol, is the Luger. I wonder if I got the angles all bent up on this, and I think I might. There's at least a chance I got them all bent up. Let's... that one sucked. How about like that? When we think of perspective, a lot of times we're thinking of really specific, like, okay, this is how you have to make the ruler lines, and this is how it's got to go. I was watching this other artist, though, and I think getting hung up on the ruler is possibly wrong. Perspective is actually just the first law. Things that are closer are larger. And as they get further away, they're smaller. If you ever get hung up on perspective and you got something that's just not working out, just remember to go back to that first principle. And there's plenty of people that can hand jam perspective. I'm not saying I'm one of them. I'm actually terrible at hand jamming that in. But the easiest way to get it wrong, of course, is to say, okay, well, I did all the lines. I did all the ruler lines. When does this start working out for me? This is supposed to be correct now. I think my problem now is I didn't get them exactly straight. Take layer 2 out for a second. Oof. Every other piece of perspective, every other bit, 2-point perspective, 3-point perspective, curvilinear, etc., is like a corollary, or, you know, it has to do with that first law. Even if you're talking about like isometric perspective, where nothing actually gets smaller. It doesn't get smaller because it's not considered to be further away. You're doing this angle where it's all kind of on the same plane. Yeah, I'm not sure I got this right at all. I think this is not looking good. But it's going to be so small. It just has to look obvious, like what it is. Speaking of which, okay. As long as we know that's a gun, we're in good shape. Okay, this has got some sound effects, which I'm going to have to do with a different layer so that they don't interfere with the focus lines. Look at these, look like nails when I do it like this. As I was driving home from work today, I was just thinking about what the next page entails. And just to go over this page one more time, he runs out of bullets and he says, "Oh crud." I think the next panel should just show him getting like just tackled by about 1 million zombies. like they should be just on top of him at that point. And in fact, I thought it would be really fun and kind of cruel to just and that's when you cut away. It's kind of like that's when I'm going to go to the switch scenes to what's going on with Gallows. And I had a cool idea for a scene with Gallows too. Like Gallows carries this grappling hook. That's his main weapon. A cool, he's like Captain America, but instead of a shield, he has a grappling hook and a rope. And you can do that kind of like kung fu thing, like with the, what is it called, the meteor hammer. Basically, it's like a weight on a chain, but with a grappling hook kind of thing. I don't know how I would do that in comics exactly. We'll figure it out. Alright, let's go back to the pencil layer for just a second. The sound effect that I've been using is one that I got right out of, I think it's Two Gun Kid. Badam Badam. I could have gone with Blam Blam. I actually do not know what the Mauser really sounds like. I think I have used something very similar, like there's a carbine in Battlefield 1. Is it Battlefield 1 or Battlefield 2? That if it's not the Mauser, it at least looks like it, right? But it's got the stock on it and everything. And the thing with the carbines is they have like a pop kind of a sound, and then you hear the brass rattling on the concrete somewhere. All right, where am I? I went back to Inky, but I need to go away from Inky. Let's use this one. In order to make it superimpose, we've got to make it, this is like a Frank Miller thing. If you look at the Dark Knight graphic novel, I hate that term by the way, the way he did his sound effects is he kind of had them sort of flow in, each letter would flow into the next letter like that. I prefer the term comic book to graphic novel by far. Okay. And then if we put white on the inside, and then here. Technically we should drop white here, even though it's already white. And then we should just check and see if it's readable. But damn, oh wait, it's not, because the lower part of the B, I now see. I screwed it up a bit. Now let's just do the next one. Actually, improving my lettering is definitely on my to-do list. Got a textbook for it. I've gotten 2 textbooks for it, I think. But actually, like, sitting down and doing it is the tough part. It requires a lot of control and balance. I've been drawing acanthus leaves to practice balance. It's kind of like the Mr. Miyagi way of trying to learn how to balance a curve. Curves require balance. Like, you can't just go, oh, that's a curve. That curve is out of balance because it's too long. That's a good curve. Right? Curves must be graceful. This is good over here, but it's bad here. So try drawing some acanthus leaves sometime. Like, look up acanthus leaves ornamentation. Sometime, and just look at how perfect it is. And of course, it was all hand drawn. I guess you'd get a French curve. I mean, that's what a French curve is. It just shows you how to balance your curves. But you should try and think about how you can learn that skill yourself. All right, let's take a look at what it looks like without the pencil. Okay, that feels, other than this A sucks. If you're going to do a heavier line, you have to choose which side of the letter to do it on. Like, you can't do it on both sides. You gotta choose one side, because you're basically like bending the letter to the side. So if we say, okay, my heavier lines will all be on this side. And it still looks a bit ate up. I don't know what to do with it about it anymore. Talk about effed up curves. This B, not good. All right. All right, it's a beginning. All right, I'm gonna go for about 5 more minutes. Then I'm just gonna go off of the stream, make dinner, plan what I'm gonna do for the convention. And move on. I realize that I've been slowing myself down because I've been saving, like, I go, okay, yeah, well, I could do this page in another couple of hours, but I'll just save it for the stream. Like, I'll make sure and do it on video. You know, it's just so I have some good drawing content for you. But that's stupid. I don't don't need to do that. Let's fake this arm in. There's no guiding line for it, but there we go. I like to draw from the imagination as much as possible. Oh geez, okay. His hand is too long and his thumb is way too far back. Let's correct that. Alright, now it's looking a little bit better. I gotta figure out how to guide this hand along. So what's going on right here is Rabbit Fighter is firing into this big crowd of zombies. And he kills a couple of them, but he doesn't kill all of them, and then he's just going to get overwhelmed by lots and lots of zombies. And we have to see why he's called Rabbit Fighter at that point. It has to look scary enough that, you know, as readers we'll be concerned with, like, does he make it? This zombie is definitely getting shot. You can see his eyes are closed. He's grimacing in pain. All right, looking good. Welcome to the Law of Unintended Consequences. Okay. What do we got? Whoops. All right, why is it? Where is it happening? Oh, it's on layer 9. Okay, so now I gotta fold layer 9 until. See, I messed up. All right. The zombies are just getting destroyed over here. Right, this is all looking pretty good. One of the things that happens when you become a gamma zombie is your fingernails are supposed to become like claws. Let's see. What's going on there? Hey now. I think his nose should be in front of his hand. But on the same way, I don't think his nose should be in very good shape. Maybe his nose is disintegrating too. They have all these like weird lesions all over their bodies. If we were to do this in color, I would try and color them green or something, the gamma zombies, or maybe just some kind of weird off yellow or something gross, you know. So, unlike traditional zombies, they're not truly dead, I guess. You know, they're just warped by radiation into this eternally decaying state. The lore of zombies makes no sense to me. Because, you know, you would physically need like viable muscle fibers, I would think, to make the jaw muscles move, right? Or whatever. I mean, they kind of touch on that in The Walking Dead a little bit. But they also have it like there was one where there were these zombies that were underwater, that were just kind of like buried in the mud. I'm like, they would have decayed, right? Within a year after. You know, after the initial zombification, it would not make sense that the zombie could still be up, like walking around. It just doesn't make any sense. And then what made the least sense of all is one of my favorite movies, which is Return of the Living Dead, the kind of punk rock one, where they have the guy that's stuck in the barrel, and they cremate one of the zombies, and it creates acid rain, and then in the cemetery, and then they all just start digging themselves up from their graves. They have no muscle fibers or anything left. So how are they even moving? I don't understand. Like, scientifically, it doesn't really seem plausible. I mean, it's a great movie. I enjoyed that movie a lot. It had a great soundtrack. The soundtrack had Grave 45's Do You Want to Party on it. Do you want to party? It's party time. All right. This is looking kind of messed up here. Okay, when we see the full thing, we see Rabbit Fighter firing into this big crowd, and then it runs out. Okay, I've got 35 minutes. I'm going to work on the rest of this panel at my leisure. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe for more fun content. I just started streaming video games. I have this thing called Vole playing games, which you should check out. I'm right now I'm playing Trove. In the future, I'm going to probably do something with role-playing games, but it won't be under the Vole playing, which would make sense. Under the Vole playing games playlist, it's going to be something called Critical Vole. LOL. Just looking at the stuff that I like to look at. Just because I'm starting to understand how this stuff even works. All right. Talk to you later.